Film review, movies, music, culture, politics, society podcast, interviews, movie reviews, and more. Live Sundays at 5:30 p.m. on Facebook at Crazon Diahann.
Hey everybody, this is Lunell, the original bad girl of comedy. I'm here at the Link Promenade in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, and you're watching the film review.
What's going on, people? This is another great episode of the film review. Without going any further, before we get started, let's just go to the prepared quick clip of the 4 films that we're going to be talking about today. Right? So you'll get to see how the strange thing about the Johnsons begins, and then we're going to go through the other 3 films, just quick clips to let you see what we're going to be talking about as far as Blaxploitation horror. So let's go to this right now, and we'll be right back.
All right, shoes on, mister.
Wait, don't. I'm cleaning it.
I'm not.
Kiddo, how we doing in there, buddy? I'm sorry I just barged in like that to your personal space. Shouldn't have. Can I come in for a second?
Isaiah, is it okay if I come in?
Hi, Joe. Hi. I met you that one time at the club with Joel, right?
I want to just grab something real quick, and I'll be right back.
Okay. Hurry up, though. We want to take advantage of this gorgeous day out. Okay?
No, dear. I believe it was twice we met at the club.
Really?
Yeah, really.
What was your name again?
You know goddamn well what my name is. Let me ask you a question. What kind of dope you smoking, baby? What kind of game are you?
When shit's really finna get ugly, partner. You got street stackers to get your ass up off my block. No, then give me 1 second so I can cock and unload this plastic block. I hope your casket's bought. Fucking with a nigga who never could, never will. Give a fuck about anything except for the creek. Give me an in, give me 50 feet. Ain't no telling which one of y'all niggas wanna let me have it. But I'm off there the weed, and that body itself, you got tatted. And it looks like a nigga done lost it. Call me Mr. Swoops, a nigga. Mr. Terminator. So I'ma grab that shit and not try to kill up off souls, a nigga.
So you know who this guy Lynch is?
Yeah, I know him. What about it?
I got some information you're gonna want to know.
Yeah, so how do you know so much?
Look, I know what I know. I know this Lynch, he's that psycho killer that's eating all them bodies.
So, people, this is the film review, movies, music, culture, politics, and society.
Yeah.
We are your hosts. I'm Crazy D.
I'm Tracy.
And we review movies, music, culture, politics, and society. And do we have a great show for you today? You just saw our brand new intro, and you just saw the 4 horror classic films that we're going to be talking about from the Blaxploitation style of making films. That is the strange thing about the Johnsons.
Quite strange.
Right? Blackenstein. Right?
Yeah.
Death by Temptation.
Right.
And Now Eat. So those are the 4 films that we're going to be talking about. That would also our topic for today has to do with how to tell people to stay out your business, right? And then also we're going to be talking about Godfather in Harlem.
Yeah, Godfather in Harlem, The Joker. Raising Diahann. Executive produced by Michael B. Jordan on Netflix.
Executive produced by Michael B. Jordan on Netflix. Michael B. Jordan is using his capital from Panther quite well.
If we covered his film
Ken, right? Last year, right? In the summer.
Yes.
Boy, this time has passed, right? It's passed.
Ken was a great film as well. We reviewed it.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. So, let's start with the strange thing.
His family.
About the Johnsons, right? So you saw the opening clip, right? And let me tell you, this is a different type of horror movie because this film is based around a family, right? A mother, a father, and a son. Okay. And it is incredible how the writer, director, who is Ari Aster, you might know him from Hereditary and Midsummer. 2018 was Hereditary and 2019 is Midsummer. So,
so those are his films.
Those are his films now, but this came out in 2011, right? Some of his influences are Rosemary's Baby, Repulsion, 45 Years, The Thing, A Matter of Life and Death, Fanny and Alexander, just to name a few. So if you know those films, you know, we know some of those films. We've seen some of those films. So you can see definitely the inspiration in this film, right? So this film was produced for AFI, American Film Institute, right? And so I guess this was when he was in school, right?
Yeah.
So this particular offering that he's offering up,
he can have it back.
This particular offering that he's offering up, right, surrounds an African American family. Now I haven't seen those, but from the trailers of those, they don't really have an African American stint or a black person protagonist in those particular films that I just mentioned that he came out with in 2018, 2019. But this one right here for 2011,
the Midsummer, I think there's black people in that.
There's black people in that one, but are they lead? I think they're supporting.
Probably.
Yeah, right.
But
so we have to watch those, and then we will correct if we're wrong. But I believe that's what I see. So anyway, in this one is definitely an African American based film. So you saw the first piece where the son was in there and he was experimenting with himself in his bedroom when his father walks in, right? And so that's disturbing enough, right?
Wait till you see the rest.
But then the film goes on and
gets even more disturbing.
Right. So as the film goes on, there is a wedding. So time passes. About 14 years pass. And the son is getting married. And, you know, previously in family photographs, the father would be smiling, right? But in this particular photograph, the father isn't smiling, and the son, and the photographer has to say smile, and the father isn't smiling.
Father looks miserable.
He looks miserable. So you're looking at it and you say, well, does he like his
family?
His extended family, making one big family? They seem real happy.
Well,
he doesn't seem too
After you see this film, you'll understand why the father wasn't smiling in the family.
So it appears that the son rubs down the father's back to give him a pep up on the butt. Say, come on, Pop,
and you'll see.
Get with the program, right?
You'll see.
So after he gets with, after that scene cuts, and then it cuts to the father on the typewriter, and as you see, as it pans across, beautiful shots to tell the story, because in film is about images and telling the story. So as they go across, as they pan across, you see that the father is an author because he has like 3 or 4 books out, and you pan over and it
did a great job telling the story with the camera.
Who he is.
Who he is,
Right? It tells you who the son is. You know, the opening salvo, the young one and the older one. Right. They tell you it within that sequence. So then, as it comes to the computer screen, and the name of the book is Cocoon Man. Right. And he's writing about his relationship between he and his son. Right. And then it cuts to the mother telling the son to go get the father for dinner, and as the father hears the son lurking in the hallway, the father is trying to kill the computer and stop the and the father and the son comes to the door, and then the father comes down to dinner, and then the movie really kicks off from there. The son decides that he wants to. No, that's later. That's
actually the first scene. It really kicks off.
No, it really kicks off, but it kicks off at that point. So look, this is a non-traditional horror movie.
Extremely non-traditional.
But you should definitely put this into your watch list.
It's definitely for the Halloween season.
It's definitely for the Halloween season. So what this is
it goes beyond the Lifetime film.
Yes, it goes beyond the Lifetime film. Okay, so let's get to this real quick, and then I can come back to populating. Okay, so let's get to this real quick. So we were watching a program on Black Noir. Okay. The 2 women who created the film Black Noir from off of the book. Black Noir, for those who don't know, is a book that chronicles the history of black people in horror films, right? And the network Shudder has the documentary called Film Noir, and back in February of earlier this year in 2019, there was a panel, and the 2 women came. Oh, actually, it was a screening, and the 2 women screened the film at TIFF. And
which film?
The film Noir.
Oh,
because there's the book, and then there the 2 women who created the film, Film Noir.
It's a documentary.
It's a documentary on black people's involvement in horror films, right? And so. Afterwards, they had a Q&A session. So a woman who was from the LGBTQ, because the discussion was about how black people are underserved in the horror genre, and how we're usually the first killed off, which I don't necessarily agree with that, but let's keep it moving. Maybe when I came in, it was a little different, because I remember Night of the Living Dead, and dude lived on until they shot him in the hand. But anyway, that's another story. But so they were talking about that. So then someone from the LGBTQ chimed in and said, we know that you know how it is to be discriminated against, and when will they start putting subject matter in there about LGBTQ, where there's LGBTQ characters in horror films? Right. And that, they would like to see more of that, because they feel that they're underserved in horror films where it's a plot about a LGBTQ. All right.
Definitely there's one.
All right, people. So we're going to have to give some spoilers, because we've been setting it up.
We're going
to give you some spoilers now. Now, look. Now, you saw that opening situation, right? So these are spoilers. So if you don't want to hear about this, well, I'm going to try because you have to see it.
This is the beginning of October, so they have an entire month to watch horror films.
Let's just say that the son
is not a traditional son.
He's not a traditional son.
So, yeah.
He has love for his father.
No spoilers.
Right? He has love for his father. Right. And that's what we'll say about that. So, if the LGBTQ are looking for a horror film to watch. The
strange thing about the Johnsons.
The strange thing about the Johnsons
is it.
Right. Now, what I will say is there's a lot of things to break down in the film. Yeah. Like the silence of the mother.
Right.
Would you have been that silent? I mean, no.
It would be a very short film if I was in it. It would not have gone on for that long. And definitely check it out because it's only, 29 minutes?
It's 29
not even 30 minutes.
Not even 30 minutes.
But it feels, it's like they compact so much information within 29 minutes. It
feels like you're watching a
2-hour film.
You're watching a feature length, right?
So they do a good job, getting in all the information within 29 minutes.
The story is laid out completely in The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, right?
Yes.
Now, you have to see this film, right? You have to see this film. We don't want to give you any spoilers because you have to experience it like you have never seen it before. And believe me, you have not seen anything like this film. Okay? No horror film of its kind have you seen. Write this down. Get a pencil and a paper.
Right.
The Strange Thing About the Johnsons.
Yes.
Right? You'll be able to see it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? You'll be able to see it on YouTube.
For free.
For free. It is a great film, right?
Yeah.
Now, what are your thoughts on the film without giving anything away? Give your thoughts on the subject matter and how you would handle
the cinematography. Great cinematography, great storytelling. Like I said, if the mother, it'd be a short film. If I was in it, it wouldn't have made it to 29 minutes. So I feel it's definitely a Halloween horror film. It's a twisted film, and it is nothing like I've ever seen before. And I loved, after seeing the film, watching like the the reviews or the expressions. So after you see the film, type in what the reviews.
Right, they coming right up after. What's going on with Shanine Hicks? I see she chimed.
Hey, Shanine,
what's going on? You have to see The Strange Thing About the Johnsons.
So unlike anything
it will be
twisted,
horror classic for you, because the son tells the father, it's about love, Dad.
So it's crazy. It's definitely Halloween horror film.
It is a horror film.
My review of it. So what's yours?
My review of the film is the storytelling on it, the way that they describe the son, the way that they show you who the father is, right, to the son, their relationship, the mother's relationship to both of them, well executed. And all this is happening in between the span of a marriage that happens in the summertime, or maybe the fall, into New Year's, right? And this is how this story, that's the span of the story. So about maybe 6 or maybe 3 months, right? And so this is the span of the story, and it is intrigue. And at the end, the discussion between the mother and the son. Well, actually, the discussion between the father and the son before the discussion between the mother and the son are to wait for.
It's the strangest film you'll ever see.
It's the strangest film that you will ever see.
So far, I won't say ever because people are constantly creating something. But this is
Ari,
the strangest.
Ari Aster has created a piece that will stay in people's minds forever. The Strange Thing About the Johnsons. It will stay in your mind. It will affect you. Okay?
What's the next film?
The next film on the list is Blackenstein. Right? Now, Blackenstein comes out in 1973. Right? It is on our list. It's number 7 on our all-time Blaxploitation list. Let's run through the all-time Blaxploitation list one more time so people will know what it is. Okay. Number 10, Bones, came out in 2001. Tales from the Hood came out in 1995. Now Eat came out in 2000. Blackenstein, number 7, came out in 73. JD's Revenge, number 6, came out in 1976. Petey Wheatstraw, The Devil's Son-in-Law, we reviewed that last week, so you go back to our last week's show to check out that review. That's number 5, and that came out in 1976, right?
Yep.
Number 4, Death by Temptation, 1990. Yep. Number 3, Vampire in Brooklyn, 1995. Number 2, Blackula, 72, the original, and in 1973, the number 1, Blackula Scream came out, and it is our number 1 on the list. And so, Blackenstein. So, what this story is about? It's a woman who is a scientist. Black woman. Let me give the listing to this. Let me see if I can find the.
I remember seeing this film as a kid on television.
On television?
Yeah, it was late, maybe Saturday night during this time, Halloween season.
They played it on television?
Yeah, on what was it? Big Chuck Little John.
Oh, Big Chuck Little John.
Yeah.
Okay. Because
those from Cleveland.
You know, because I didn't, ever see. I saw it on VHS when the Blaxploitation made its way back into the 90s, right? So, Blackenstein, 1973. John Hart plays Dr. Stein. Now, you know the person who is the sinister doctor still has to be Caucasian. So, of course, he's the doctor. Then Ivory Stone plays Dr. Winifred Walker. That is the love interest of Joe Dessous, Eddie Turner. Eddie Turner returns back from the Vietnam War. He has some disfigurement, like
from the war.
Some lack of feeling in limbs, right? And somehow the doctor comes to where he's at. I guess let's call it a VA hospital, okay? And he comes there and he somehow works with him and is able to get his feeling back, but somehow
at the request of the girlfriend.
At the request of the girlfriend.
Because the girlfriend did an internship with the doctor.
Right. So he does this, and so he comes, but he somehow convinces her that we could take this guy back here and really make him whole again, right? So as whatever he did to him, which we're not going to give away, you'll see it in the film, right? Whatever he did, his head starts to grow.
And he looks like Frankenstein.
He starts to look like Frankenstein, but you saw the piece that we put together for the 4 films that we're talking about right now. So his head is kind of big, right? So he then goes on this rampage. He gets loose and he goes on this rampage. I'm not going to tell you the whole story. But then he comes back because someone is trying to get at his woman. And, he just doesn't quite appreciate that too much. And you saw that a little bit in the trailer. Of course, we had to cover it up. Because back then, the nipples were free in the 70s, right? And we don't know what's going on now, but hey, whatever. But anyway, Blackenstein, 1973. Now, I've seen reviews on this film, and they said that it wasn't good. But let me tell you something. For Halloween and how campy it is.
It's fun. It's fun.
It's
Halloween
a fun film to watch. Right. A Big Chuck and Little John type, the Ghoul type, Elvira type, what type of movies they play. Well, these are our movies, right? That you can really get in and begin and really enjoy.
I've even seen Blackenstein on Turner, what is it?
Classic movies. That's right, because they have the Blaxploitation Halloween era, right? So that is definitely something to watch, right? So what would you rate Blackenstein?
Don't ask me to rate these Halloween.
Okay, come on.
They're just fun Halloween.
What would you rate it though? If you were giving it a judgment, what would you rate it? Go ahead.
Okay, well, Blackenstein, I would give, you know, like a D.
You would give it a D
for effort. What is it? E is for effort.
E for effort.
That's elementary.
Those are those strange ratings.
That's elementary.
So anyway, we go by number.
I would give it a
by
D.
number.
You know why? Because I saw Death Temptation again.
Okay, wait, we're gonna get to.
And I would score that a lot higher than this.
Right, okay.
So I would a D is nice because I didn't give it an F. I mean, it was entertaining.
For the funness of this film, right? I'm gonna give it a 7, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Because of the fact that here's a person who. Well, I don't want to give the film away, but I'm gonna give it a 7. You go watch it, but it is good for Halloween.
It's nothing serious.
It is great for Halloween. Let's say what's up to some of the people who chimed in: Brian Harris, Melvin Washington, Sony Simpkins, Nakia, Jerome, Michael Hinton, Michael Elliott, Jerome, Donald Randell, Shanine Hicks, Brian Martin, Ken Folk, Veronica, England Marie, and then Shanine Hicks again. So we want to say what's up to you.
And they can chime in, just type in their favorite Halloween film.
Type in your favorite Halloween film. And you know, Blaxploitation Halloween film, and we will make sure that we read it across the air here, right? So look, that's why I give it a 7. So now, the next film. So like I said, we're running through 4 films, right? We've already been through 2, and now we're going to the 3rd right now, which is Death by Temptation. And we got to watch that film completely again. This is great filmmaking, right? Great filmmaking. It's created by James Bond.
He's a child star.
James Bond III. You know, he kind of reminds me of Rodney Allen Rippey, kind of, right? But he was a child star, but he grew up working in the industry, so he saw the behind the scenes magic of how to go about creating films, and then he had the audacity
to make his own film.
No, the audacity while Spike Lee was listening to say that you didn't need to go to film school to make a good film.
Well, because he had life experience.
Right. That's right.
So that's what.
And so that's what that is. And he
did a great job.
Pulls off an excellent film. This film is so excellent. Death by Temptation. Writer, director James Bond III. Kadeem Hardison. Now you saw the clip that we showed you of Kadeem Hardison. Kadeem Hardison can emote. Kadeem Hardison, the scene that we showed you where he discovers that he cannot see the
vampire's image in the mirror.
The vampire's image in the mirror shows you how he steps. He's stepping and stepping up and developing the character to the character's arc.
Yeah, he did a good job. Because could you imagine being in a room with someone and you just happen to look in the mirror to fix your hair or whatever, and they don't have an image. There's no reflection.
Shanine says that my cousin and my mom like this one. Yeah. That's right. So
it's a good one. Classic.
What makes this film unique? Well, let me keep going through the list before we get to what makes this film unique. The late, great Bill Nunn is in the film. Right. Cynthia Bond plays the temptress, vampire woman. Melba Moore plays I guess you could call a voodoo priestess. Samuel L. Jackson plays James Bond's deceased father.
The minister, right?
The minister. Okay, so let's lay this film out, right? Death by Temptation. So it opens up and you are introduced to Samuel L. Jackson, right? And Samuel L. Jackson is, what's going on with Scott? I see he just chimed in. Samuel Jackson is a minister, is a preacher, and he has a young son. Yeah. But what he notices as he's practicing his preaching in an empty church with his son sitting in like the third or fourth pew looking up at his dad, is there's an apparition that is sitting in the back. It's in the form of, it appears to be a woman in all black. Now, for people who don't know what that imagery is of the woman in all black, if you watch the film with Mickey Rourke and Lisa Bonet. What is the name of that film? Right? If you watch that film, you'll see the woman in black, right? And it's something that's a New Orleans type of feel or folklore as far as the woman in the black, in all black with the veil over her face, right? And so he sees this apparition and she's sitting back, and then she stands up, she rises up, angel heart. She rises up and she begins to get closer to the sun. By the time he's preaching, he's noticing that the woman has her arms around, the apparition has its arms around his son, and he's like, whoa, we got to get our son out of here because this person is actually, this apparition or whatever it is, this demon is after him, and I can't just protect him, so I'm going to take him down to my mom, to his grandma's, who is deep in the book. If for those who don't know, this Death by Temptation has a through line back to Oscar Micheaux, where our black films have to do with our faith in God. That's right. So this is a film that is actually a religious picture masked as a demon vampire picture as you watch it. But it's not preachy. It's not preaching to you. But it is very entertaining. So he takes it down south, but on the way back, there's the apparition in the road, and his wife all of a sudden tells him, it's a woman in the road. Don't hit her, don't hit her. And then all of a sudden they go, it dies. James Bond III sits up grown, whereas the little boy before was a little boy, you know, and then he sits up grown, and then the story kicks off from there, right? This film is an incredible piece of work by James Bond III, right? With these characters in it, well fleshed out, well written, the folklore of using combining not only the vampire, which would be a demon, but with the folklore from the Bible of what a demon is, and combining the two together to make this temptress vampire that has her eyes set on James Bond III's character, because he is the last of his line that is a pure heart that can spread the message, right? And so that's why she's after him. So this film, from the time period, the music selection used to tell the story, the story of the different men that become her victim that happen to patronize this certain bar. Beautifully done, right? The transformation of the demon. Now, here's another one. The LGBT woman stood up. The LGBTQ woman asked the question to the women who were talking about African Americans underserved in movies. And here's another movie where there is a LGBTQ plot placed in the film, where there's an interaction between the demon and the LGBTQ, right? So James Bond III included every aspect of black life in film, like what most black films do.
Always do. So, you know, I think the woman that stood up and asked the question wasn't familiar with black films.
Right. I don't think she was. I think she was there to grind an axe that is usually not an axe that needs to be grinded within the black community, because the black community has accepted.
Everyone's embraced.
Everyone's embraced because of the struggle that we go through, right? So, cinematography, the angles that he uses to tell this story, I haven't seen them in film since. I mean, the use of the fisheye, the extremely low angle to.
My favorite angle was the brownstone, the opening.
Yes. I mean, it's just some angles. So look out for the angles and how they tell the story through images, right? So this whole thing is just one of the great films, right? So what would you rate?
Now see, Death by Temptation was a good horror film. So like that one, I would give it an 8. So
I mean, for the acting, Paul was in it, the use of special effects in it, the storyline, I give it a 10. It is something worth having in your collection to watch during this Halloween season. Okay, people. So now eat. This is the next.
Brother Lynch Hung.
Brother Lynch Hung. This is the next selection in the in this, right? And this piece, right, made in 2000. Okay, so a lot of our films have to deal with the supernatural, the occult, because there is a understanding or a lack of understanding of what's happening with the occult, right, within the community, right?
Right.
So, Brother Lynch Hung,
who's a rapper
from Sacktown,
okay,
right? Sacktown, California, right? He is a MC in this story, and this is what it's about. It surrounds his friends. He's not only a MC, but he is also in Sacramento, California. He is also a gangbanger in this picture, right? So he is around his friends, and his friends are gangbangers, and they're all sitting around, but they're working on how to do music and how to keep themselves alive within this situation, what was happening in Sacktown at the time, right? So something happens, and there's this like voodoo priestess type person living in the neighborhood, and it's a guy that wants to get at Lynch Hung for some reason, and he strikes a deal with her, and he scratches Lynch Hung, and the curse is anything that you kill, you must eat. And this is the premise of the film, Now Eat. Now, in between all of this is great musical MC delivery from Brother Lynch Hung and his crew, right? And it was one of the fan favorites when it came out in 2000. Because it came out a little bit right after Bout It by Master P, because Master P put out his VHS, and then everyone started putting out their movies. So it was a fan favorite because it went along with his CD. So you get the Now Eat CD with the VHS tape, right? And so you were able to watch, Brother Lynch Hung tell this story, right? So the story is a quirky story, and you saw the clip of that at the beginning of what was happening with that. There's more in there. There's more gore, and there's more situations. But there's an interesting scene in there where there's a home invasion, but you don't see the home invasion, but you see what's happening on the screen. The people get out the car, they exit left of the screen, then you hear the commotion and you see the people running across the screen. It's a beautifully shot to tell you the story without having to show you. You need to watch it. It's some good cinematic pieces in it. Now, for those who aren't familiar with Brother Lynch Hung, this gets you familiar with Brother Lynch Hung. The soundtrack is good. The storyline is good. And where can we find there's some get back on on the police in this piece too. So you have to watch it. Okay. It's very interesting. You can also see it on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
You can see it on YouTube. Okay. Right now, eat. Now, you saw it a while ago, so yeah. Right. So my rating on it, I give it an 8. Okay. Right. Because it's not widescreen, it's 4:3. Okay. And so it's in the it's how TVs used to be when that videotape came out. So the enjoyment of it, because you have to see black box on each side of the screen instead of up and below and top. Mm-hmm. So the enjoyment of it is a little less. So I'll give it an 8. But what it is for Halloween is definitely worth having in there. The people will be tripping out when they see Lynch hung and the chainsaw. So
that'll be, tons of great scary Halloween films to watch for free on YouTube.
That's right. You can put them in a watch list. Yep. From YouTube and be able to watch those films.
Popcorn and other snacks and just chill and watch your horror films.
And make sure that you put them in your collection too, right? You put them in, you also go ahead and own them and put them in your collection so that people will...
the next generation
can watch and enjoy and like these films, right?
You have to order it's the Blackenstein. Now that one you have to purchase.
That's true. Yeah. You do have to purchase that Blackenstein, right? Blackenstein. So it is well worth. All these films are well worth watching, seeing, viewing for your Halloween season. Because like we said, Jason is okay. Yeah. Michael Myers is okay. Yeah. All those other films are okay. Yeah. But put these in your selection and you will trip out and have a good time this Halloween season for sure, right?
Last Halloween season, last year actually, we reviewed Halloween, the latest one. Mm-hmm. And the star in that film was an adorable young black kid. He's the star of the film. He is hilarious. So if you do watch Halloween, this Halloween season, the latest one from last year with 2018, you have to watch it and look out for this kid because he is definitely like the breakout star. He steals the show. He steals the show in Halloween.
I'm out of here.
He's the only one with sense in the damn film.
The whole film, he was the only one with sense.
He is hilarious.
He is in there. I'm out of here, buddy. You know what I mean? So
he had the audience cracking up.
He had the audience going. Right? Yes, he did. So those are 4 more films from the Blaxploitation. So check out our last couple of episodes because we've been talking about Blaxploitation and the top films of Halloween, of horror, film noir, horror films that you should have in your collection to watch this season, right? So those 4 films, and then next week we're going to have more, right? So now let's see what we're going to now. All right, people. How to tell people to stay out your business. And now let me change this. We went through that. We went through that sequence so much, right? How to tell people to stay the heck out your business is what we're going to be talking about next, people.
Before we get to Joker and the Godfather of Harlem and Raising Diahann. So.
Right. Film. So we gotta let you know how to go for doing that. But first, people, sometimes on a Saturday morning, I just want to kick back and watch something that's written, produced, directed, edited, narrated, and acted in
from the Lordlandfilms
by a black filmmaker.
Yes.
Right?
Independent
black filmmaker.
Yes.
I like to see that. And so I didn't see that around. So you know what I came up with?
What?
I came up with Lordland Theater. That's right. Every Saturday morning, Lordland Theater, right? So this is the Halloween edition of Lordland Theater. These next few weeks are different things that are based on the Halloween spirit. So we're on episode 10 of Lordland Theater. Can you say the same? But anyway, so watch these, because for the next couple of Saturdays we're going to be having a Halloween themed theme on Lordland Theater. Just watch them. You can go right over to Lordlandfilms.com on the actual website. You can go to Lordlandfilms.com/Lordland TV, or you can go right over to Lordlandfilms.com on Facebook. It's the Facebook page, Lordlandfilms.com. Click videos and you can watch 1 through 10 right behind each other, right there, right in order. And you will enjoy Lordland Theater. Right? Lordland Theater every Saturday morning. So look, people, as you see in this caption right here, how to tell people to stay out your business. I'm gonna give people some time to chime in on this, because this is a very important message brought to you by Lordland Theater. Right? So we're giving people time to chime in here. Let me go ahead and hit this in some groups real quick before we get started here. And this is not taking me to the groups. Is that doing what it should do? But it's okay. All right, people. So, So, how to tell people to stay out your gut business. All right, people. Look. I've started with Lordland Theater here for a reason. I started pushing across the different sites, different pages on Facebook about actors sending in their resume, their bios, and their headshots to be on Lordland Theater. So then, I don't know what brought two people to the nonsense to write and ask, are these paid or non-paid assignments or gigs or whatever? Right?
Well, did you ask them to send you their body of work?
So wait, let me get to this. So I'm sitting there, right, and I'm saying, So I happen to just click and look at their pages, right? Okay. And I'm like, I don't see anything that you've actually done, right? Here's one way to tell people to stay out of your business and get some, because me myself, if I'm on those pages as an actor, I would love to act, and so that would build my resume. That's for one thing, right? Build my bio, right? That's one thing. But if you don't have a body of work, why do you think that you should get paid for anything? You don't have a body of work. You haven't acted, or if you've acted, what you've acted in hasn't come out, or what you've acted in you're not proud enough to display so that you can be seen, heard, recognized, and appreciated. This is what we do at Lordland Films. So stay out the business of if it's paid or not paid. Stay out of that business and do what the creator told you to do, which was just to submit your headshot and your bio and be considered to act opposite moi. Did I forget to tell you that they act opposite Crazy D in every episode? That means that I write the action, I film the action, I edit the action, I narrate the action, and I act like a beast. Okay? And all you have to do is show up and know your lines and deliver opposite moi. And believe me, I don't make it easy for you, because I come to steal the scene every time. Lordland theater, which hypes and brings the level of the prowess of the opposite up to make them be able to be seen, heard, recognized, and appreciated. See the method and the madness. So stay out of the business of that. Now here's another one, people. Now, the ego that I run into with some of these people out here. Now when I'm talking about that, I'm not talking about black people. Okay? When I'm talking about this, I'm not talking about black people. So there are some black people that have some real egos. But right now, these last two examples I'm talking about were Caucasian. Okay? So this person, now remember my request, I would say more than an instruction, it is a request, because once we get on set, then I'm director and then it's direction. Okay. I requested that you send in your headshots and your bio to be considered to act in Lordland Theater. Okay. This person comes underneath the writing, like the other people did, underneath one of the episodes, trying to get promotion without putting in any work. That's what I said, how we see that. For people who do that, that's what we see. People who actually put something out for people to see. If you put something under there that's yours, then you're just trying to get free promotion because you figure people are going to look at that person's thing is popular, and then they'll look at yours. But if yours is but anyway, that's another story for another time. We're talking about staying out of people's business. Now look, the dude comes under and he writes, if you're interested, if you're looking for me, just contact me back. That wasn't the instruction. So automatically you're in the business and you're overstepping the bounds in the business. Now the business said, submit your headshot and bio to this particular email address, and if you're interested, do that. If you're not interested, and don't. But this person sits up and says, if you're interested in me, so then they come back and write again later. They speak to someone that I have acting in the Lordland Theater situations, and he writes back and he says, oh, I talked to somebody and they told me that there's an old footage. Let me say it again. In that voice. I don't even think he has a real thespian voice. I don't think, but I will do it in that thespian voice. I spoke to someone and they told me that it was old footage, and because I'm just so great, though I have nothing out or anything to show for being great, I am just so great that it's old footage. So I don't know what that meant, because he didn't say, oh, don't consider him anymore, because I hadn't considered you because you didn't do what the instructions said. So I hadn't considered you anyway. I just read it and kept it moving on to episode 11. Okay, so look. There is no such thing as like people get it effed up. They get it effed up. There's no such thing as anything old. Because if it was old, why are people going to search out music that they're playing in commercials that came out way back in the 50s?
Or like the two movies, for instance, with the Godfather of Harlem, which we will be reviewing tonight. How many years did did Forrest Whitaker say that it took to get the project off? Like it took
what, 20? 20 years. They had been working on it for the long, when he was a wee pup.
And we're also reviewing The Joker tonight. And how long? I mean, like, we waited for that film to come out, so they worked on that film.
And how
over a year ago.
How old is Joker as a character in comic books that people want to do? So this is what I'm saying. Right. There is nothing old in music. There is nothing old in film, because if that was so, then the TV is full of what is mostly TV, cable TV.
Right.
It's all reruns.
Right.
Reruns. It's never old.
Right. That's just
Good
like
Times has been on for 40 years.
Forever.
And people watch it like it's brand new, year for year.
Right.
Sanford and Son.
Right.
There is no such thing as old.
Right.
It is reruns. Yeah. But not to mention that Crazy D takes the time to take his classic material and recut it into a new narrative, showing you the ability of the auteur to take this and make this a new narrative, a new storyline,
which keeps that actor current,
fresh in people's mind, especially
even if
when
they haven't done a project in a while.
Especially when they haven't done projects. They've done projects, but
maybe they haven't come out yet. Right.
Okay. You know, I was at the schoolhouse at CSN, and I had brought some actors to do a script for the students, right? Okay. And so I had brought in some of my good actors to do a presentation in front of the students of a gangster script I wrote, which was an offset, a whole nother world for the Black Ice Chronicles. So I did this, right? And the one actor, I saw him talking to the female actor.
Okay.
And he was walking down the hallway, but he was making it like it was secretive, as he was like, you know, you can, because I write body language, I write facial expressions, I write that, so I see, because I look through the 16:9, I see the world differently. I see things because I have to write these things, right? So I saw him walking down the hallway, and he was telling. So what's funny about here in Las Vegas is, except for me, people seem to want to get in your business. Here's another way that people get into your business and how you can tell people to stay out your business. See, the second way that I just showed you how to do it is through ridicule. Oh, I didn't finish that story. Let me finish the story. Let's go back to, it was old footage. Okay, so look. We happened to have to go take a delivery. We had to ship something off. And we walk into, now this is the very same day that message came across. And so I'm walking in and I'm looking, and look, lo and behold, who do I see sitting across at the desk? He wasn't the person who was helping us, but I look across and there is this person working in the shipping place. Now there's nothing wrong with working in the shipping place, but you would have thought that this person was a well-known thespian that would never be out. Romeo, right? You would think that this person was just, you wouldn't be there. So the person, he turned his back to me, his neck turned red, because I'm looking at him like, you were just talking to, but God, it was God. Okay? Alright, so, you know, so the second way to tell people to stay out your business is just a little ridicule, because if they don't want to be ridiculed, don't get in your business. Because I swear I am so busy all day, every day, that I don't have time. Right. By the time I found out about Two Girls in a Cup, it was 5 years later.
And I still don't know.
You see what I'm saying? Because life is busy, and you know, 5 years, a couple of years ago. So hey, think about when it came out for those who were watching over there and they saw that Two Girls in a Cup, and I can tell you, I didn't know about it till 5 years later. That shows you that I'm busy, right? So the second way to tell people to get out your business and to get them something is ridicule. Okay, so the third situation, right? So the person took the person off to the side and was talking to him, and I could tell they didn't want me around, like they was talking to him. So what I find here is people who produce film here, this is not how film works, because people work with different people. We've said that before. I beat that with a dead horse. But I'm just telling you another example of how to tell people to stay out your business and get you some, right? The person took them off, so all of a sudden the people started pulling, right? All of a sudden, because I heard through the grapevine, because you know there's always still a grapevine, that the people only wanted the people to work with them. And for some reason, people have, some of us are sheep, and some of us are looking for a shepherd, all I'm going to do is show you how to be an independent contractor. That's what I can show you, because that's what I know. I'm not trying to shepherd you. We don't have a casting couch. We don't do any of that. We're going to show you how to go about doing it.
Right.
And then when you're called on, be considerate enough to appreciate what was done to come back and do a role. But I got 5 great actors I can call on, right? But so the people started pulling away, and then so they were doing this project. And this project, boy, this took a long time. You know, I can shoot a movie in 2 weeks and have it out. Take a week in between to cut it, edit it, and have it out in 2 weeks. It's sound quality, picture, all that great. All right, so they pull away. So then the movie never comes out. And all these people wasted time, and then when it was finally put up in a facsimile of something, I watched it, sound quality horrible, picture horrible. So there these people are getting in my business because we're high profile. When we got here, we landed here, we started pushing because I already had the formula. I already had the plan, the everything, the structure, the foundation is there. You just build the new house off the original foundation. So I said, boom. So then when you watch it and it's no true, so how to tell people to stay out your business, make sure that your sound quality and your picture is right before you get in my business.
You mean or have like a reel with the body of work?
Have a reel with the body of work before you get into my business. So that's 3 ways to tell people to get out your business. Now, the other way to tell people to get out your business, 4th way, because this is gonna be the top 5, right? So we didn't went through it. You know, you can rewind it. We're not going back. Number 5, number 4, 4th way to get to it, right, is if you're on social media, okay, right? If you're on social media and somebody butts into what you're doing on social media and they have a comment to say or anything, block them. And that tells them, stay on my business, because I swear I have so much time in the day. I wouldn't have time to be in somebody else's business. So we're gonna just give you the top 4.
Wait, no, because a couple of my like friends and family members, like kind of, we talk about this all the time. You know, those who are like busy. Right.
Busy.
We talk about how there is not enough time in the day to be so like what every person is doing or what every person is saying, or because like I had talked to my niece today and she asked me had I seen something on Facebook. I'm like, I don't go on Facebook often. I do the film review, but it's like I don't have enough time in the day. Like it's not enough time in 24 hours for me to constantly, you know, so a lot of stuff family members and friends have to reach out to me about, because I'm like literally a busy person.
Busy person. So, Shani says, Javon is laughing at the way you are saying theater. If he was upset, he should have Tootsie rolled his behind on somewhere else. She also says, true. Shani said, most movies, books, plays, music take a while to develop, especially if you want to produce a great product. That's right. So that's why there are reruns and replays and reimagining, because nothing ever gets old.
And there's just like so many great books out there that can be read, like Ta-Nehisi Coates just wrote a nice book. Like, so, I mean, I don't know. And then you watch it like on the news and you hear about these court cases and just people being murdered and killed over petty stuff and silly stuff for social media, and it's just like I just think if people had invest their time in their families and or reading or just learning more about yourself and your community, and not be so, what's the word, petty?
Yeah, J. Cole calls it ego.
Oh, J. Cole, yeah.
When he was on Angie Martinez.
Right.
And he was talking about at the time what Kanye West was doing.
Right.
And he said that's just ego to make people follow you. And then he was like worried about how many people are actually following you and how many people aren't.
Right.
That's just ego.
And to be on the social media and to be petty and mean and nasty, and then when you call a person on it, and I love how people play the victim. Oh, what? No, I didn't mean that. Oh, I don't, you know. So I'm just like, okay, well, let me kind of get used to this world, because I'm really not from that world. I'm from the Midwest, Cleveland, Ohio, and we like straight no chaser. Like,
so number
tell
5.
it like it is.
So
don't play
5.
games. But when you become in an environment with people like older people who act silly and childish, you're like, wow. Come from this.
So number 5 in it, you know,
right.
we went through the first 4. You go back and rewind and get those. Right. You know, go back. You know, I used to always wonder why Tom Joyner never went back. You would come in late, you won't know what he's talking about. So go back and watch it. But right now, number 5, thumbs up on this one right here. Number 5.
Oh yeah. So the message to that was just use social media for positivity.
Positivity.
No negativity.
Ego. No ego.
No pettiness.
Don't worry about how many people are following you, because, you know, like me, I get more people watching than say that they follow. So I don't really worry about it. You know what I mean? So number 5 on this, on how to get people, when you stand in front of people and they want to tell you what people said, or they want to say something about what you're doing, you tell them. You look at them. Like I look at them and say, where's your finished product? Where's your body of work? Where is all that? If you don't have that, you should go get you some business. Stay out of mine, because you can see mine all over the internet. You can hear mine in music. You can hear mine in so many different ways. You can hear us here. 79 episodes. 79 episodes. Next week will be the 80th episode of the Film Review, Movies, Music, Culture, Politics, Society. Go get you some business and stay out of mine, because I wouldn't have time to come talk to you about your business
or what you're doing.
Because I got so much business. So in other words, you don't have no business. You got time to talk about mine. So there it is, people. So those are the top 5 ways to tell people to stay out your business. All right, people. All right, we're moving on to the next review.
Whether it's family, friends, strangers, everybody.
That's right. Do you know who Rupert Pupkin is?
No, who is that?
Do you know who Arthur Fleck is?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Do you know who Jackie Burke is? Right. Okay. Do you know who the Taxi Driver is? Right. Have you ever seen the movie Taxi Driver? Yes. If you have seen the movie Taxi Driver,
starring.
Wait a minute now. Let me set it up. Okay. If you have seen the movie Taxi Driver, and you have seen the movie King of Comedy, not to be confused with The Kings of Comedy,
right?
You know, which was the black thing, but the first thing that was called The King of Comedy that came out in '83. Right. The film that was produced, shot by Martin Scorsese, starring Jerry Lewis and that phenomenal guy, Robert De Niro. If you watch these 3 films that I mentioned, right? The first 2 films are what could lead to the Joker. The last film, which also stars De Niro as Jackie Burke, is what happens if that person was successful, and they would be then the comedian that gets a second 15 minutes of fame, right? Yeah. So you need to, but most definitely you need to watch the first 2 films, which Rupert Pupkin is King of Comedy. Yes. And the Taxi Driver, Robert De Niro is the Taxi Driver. Yeah. You can give me the character name on Taxi Driver, right? So, if you watch those 2 films, you see a lot of elements that were borrowed by Tim Phillips, right? To tell the story of the Joker. Todd Phillips, excuse me. To tell the story of of Joker, not the Joker, but Joker. So now look.
Todd Phillips he directs Deadpool.
He directs Deadpool. That's right. So
okay, so in Taxi Driver, Robert De Niro's character is Travis Bickle.
Yes, Travis Bickle. Okay, so what's unique about Travis Bickle's character in Taxi Driver is all of these violent situations seem to happen, but once you see the cuts back to the apartment, it appears that Travis Bickle never really left the apartment. That this might be something going on in his head. Right? Rupert Pupkin, who kidnaps Jerry Lewis. Jerry Lewis's character in the film King of Comedy. He is a aspiring comic. Right. De Niro's character, Rupert Pupkin. He's an aspiring comic. He can't get a break, so somehow he fixates on Jerry Lewis, who is this talk show host, kind of like a David Letterman, kind of like a Carson-esque type character, right? Yeah. And so he fixates on him, and somehow he finds a way to get in to him. And from there, he's able to get in and try to befriend the Jerry's character. And at the same time, Sandra Bernhardt is a stalker type fan who then befriends De Niro's character to try to get close to Jerry Lewis's character because she's a stalker. And you see all this in the film. But what happens in there, you don't know if this actually happened, because these are what you call unreliable narrators. It's a term in film called the unreliable narrator. So now we come to Joker. Right? We come to Joker.
A movie we have been waiting to see for over a year. Right? Because first of all, when we saw that Joaquin Phoenix was gonna starring as Joker, we knew then, okay, it's gonna be a great film because he's a great actor.
So he plays Joker. Right. He plays Arthur Fleck. Right. So Arthur Fleck, the film opens up, and Arthur Fleck is a clown, literally, who. If you see the people standing outside on the corners flipping the signs around for different businesses, this is what he does, but he's dressed in a clown outfit, right? Something happens. You saw this in the trailer, and the little boy steals his sign. You saw that, and they smash him with the sign, and he's down on it, right? So then a fellow comic gives him a tool to hold on to just in case something like that might happen again. Something happens at a place, and then he loses his job due to this. And this is where the film kicks off. Next thing you know, you find him in front of his social worker. And you see him in front of his social worker one more time when she's telling him that funding is cut, boom, boom, boom. How's he gonna get his med? So all the women, all of this is happening, right?
Yeah, but first of all, we have to talk about the cinematography.
No. I gotta set it. So all of this is happening within this piece, right? And this is where it kicks off, right? And so the story, the way that they detail Gotham, it will be like the camera pans down from the sky to expose a city darkened with despair. Darkened, I don't like that word, darkened. But anyway, darkened with despair. The streets are trash littered. Yeah, because the opening unclean. I'm setting up how the scene would go. So I'm giving them how it would sound, how it would look in the script. Because most people don't ever get the chance to see a script. So in script writing, they tell you that the city or wherever you are can be a world within the world that you're describing. So I'm describing it. So it's coming down. So the streets are littered, and the buildings are graffiti,
Yeah.
Cascading graffiti, disconjointed to make this cacophony of visual noise to the viewer's eyes. And from there, that's where you see him in the street, and this is where he's happening. So it's definitely shot low key.
Right.
And he's running through and he's smashed. So the cinematography goes exactly with how the script would it would be written to tell you what Gotham City looks like. This is a Gotham City that you have not seen. We want to say what's up to Angela Harris. She just chimed in. What's going on with you? Let's see. Miles Lowe just chimed in. I want to say what's up to him.
Yeah, because in most movies they just jump right into the character.
Right.
But this one,
right? The Gotham is a world. Everything from every image that you see. There's a scene with the train that beautifully shot. The cinematography on this is great. The way that they tell the story, the aged buildings. It's like what you would consider. It doesn't look like Times Square, but it's what Times Square was like in the 70s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The torn houses and everything, and the graffiti and the crime. You know, this unstoppable, but the people are in an uproar and they are starting to protest that the rich has money, which is a thematic piece in this film that has to do with what's potentially possibly going to happen today. Right? So we watch as this happens to him. And we go through, and then all of a sudden something happens, and he then starts to take on the persona of the Joker, right? But there's certain things in the film that happen, just like with Rupert Pupkin, and the taxi driver, that make you think that possibly this is not a reliable narrator, right? And this is where where the film takes on an ominous feel, right? Where the things that are happening doesn't seem like, could it be happening, or is all of this in his mind? There's certain things that happen in the film that make you think, maybe this is something that is something in his mind. Especially at the end of the film, when you see that the social worker person appears to be the same as the therapist in Arkham Asylum.
The years later, right?
What I'm saying is, you can take this film two ways.
Okay.
You can take it literally, or you can take it that he is an unreliable narrator, and all of this is playing in his mind, and there's certain clues to that. So give your assessment of the film.
You know, like I said, the cinematography is just great. So the opening of the film, I'm like, this is going to be a great ride, and it was. The character, right, the Joker. So you kind of saw him, well, Arthur Fleck, right? So you get a feel for his personality, and you see what he goes through as Arthur Fleck. And I think it was a beautiful build-up, don't you think? Like his personality, how he just, you saw the physical change. It was like a metamorphosis?
Right, yeah. It's an arc, most definitely.
Yeah, and so you actually see it. So like the acting is just like superb, because you rarely see something like this. Like you physically, well, in M. Night Shyamalan's film, it's Split. The character, the one with the split personality, right? You saw how he his body changed and metamorphosed, and that's how it is. Like with Joker, he goes from being just plain old Arthur Fleck to growing into the Joker character. And just like well done, like without giving the film away, because you don't want to give the film away. You have to see it, and it's worth seeing it. And we're gonna go see it again because it's like one of those films that is so good, you definitely don't mind, you know, paying to see it twice. And
Catrice Thomas just chimed in. What's going on, Catrice?
And the music and the dancing, great.
So now, do you believe that this actually happened?
Well, I don't want to give the film away.
But do you believe that what happened actually happened?
It's a great film. I do believe everything that I saw in the outside world, the people who he dealt with and how he was treated, because we talked about it like a few minutes ago, right? Different like personalities and how some people can be kind of just like mean and nasty for no reason, right? So we all know about this, right, on social media, you know. So to see what he went through, his character, it's believable to me, because here he is, a man minding his own business, living his life, you know, taking care of his mom.
There are certain clues in the film that allude to the fact that this is something that's, all of it is something that's happening in his mind, and that he is actually, he's never left Arkham Asylum.
You think so?
And it's certain clues to it. There's certain things that happen, like there's certain relationships that happen that actually didn't happen.
Well, you know
there's
you don't think he relived them in his head?
It's something that the therapist at the end was saying to him, which gives you something. The questions that she was asking him, watch for this now, and then you can make your decision once you watch it. The questions that she was asking him were not the questions that would be asked of a person who did what he did. There's similarities to this film and King of Comedy, whereas the King of Comedy used it used television, so it would be Taxi Driver. Taxi Driver used newspapers to report what happened, right? In King of Comedy, they used books, saying that this happened and this person became famous because of books, right? Joker says something about he didn't think that anyone knew him, but now they recognize him, right? In the King of Comedy, he says it's better to be a king for a day than to be a smuck for a lifetime. Only a smuck for a lifetime.
He did say that. That's a great movie too. You have to see the King of Comedy.
So there are certain things in there that these movies warn you about social media, what we just talked about before when we did the top 5, right? And so these movies are telling you this, and it's the questions that she's asking him, which we don't want to give away, but watch the film. But the question is, did this really happen, or was this all imagined in the mind of a person who felt as if he was not recognized because he has never been out of Arkham Asylum? And so we will leave it right there. But anyway,
you have to see
makeup, dress code, the acting,
music
of everyone, including most definitely Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, give the cast real quick, then we'll get the rating.
Great cast, starring Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck, the Joker. Zaza Beetz, her character, Sophie Duman. Dante Pirro Alston plays Bruce Wayne. Robert De Niro is in the film also. You know what was a nice surprise in the film was to see Brian Tyree Henry from the TV show Atlanta, as well as he's been in so many other films. But I didn't even know he was going to be in the film, so it was good to see him in the film. But also, she wigged Ham from Boardwalk. Sharon Washington played the therapist. Lee Gill, Bill Camp, Josh Parrish, Glenn Flesher, Francis Conroy, Douglas Hodge, Brett Collin, Mark Marone. Great cast.
Right.
Great cast.
So when you watch the film, ask yourself, is Arthur Fleck a unreliable narrator? Because it's definitely told from his side, side of the story, right? Is he an unreliable narrator, or is he a reliable narrator? All right. So
I say he's a reliable narrator.
And I say that he's an unreliable narrator.
Because
so watch.
I thought about Ava DuVernay's film When They See Us, and when Corey was in where it's just him, and what's it called?
What?
When he was in isolation. I forget what it's called.
Solitary confinement.
Right. And then he thought about if he had gone the other way. If he had gone the other way.
Okay, that would
And then he also thought about like his life too. Like he thought about his mom, and he thought about the conversation between his mom and his brother, right? So it's a combination of actual events in his life. He thought about when he was in solitary, as well as things had they took another route.
Yeah, if he had took another route,
so
that would, if they had took that and they had told the story that way,
so it's a combination,
he would be an unreliable narrator.
Yeah, but in his case, it was a combination of both. So for me, I think that's how it was for the Joker's character, a combination of both, because we saw, his life, what happened in his life, and then we know from the previous films, like in Batman, like he was released from the asylum, right? So we know that eventually the Joker does end up in the asylum, right? We know this. But I think that a lot of what happened was he thought about like what actually happened or what could have,
But see, the main thing is the reason why. So I don't want to give this away, but the reason why.
No, don't give it away.
I'm not giving it away.
Okay.
The reason why it's unreliable narrator is you don't have to answer this. It's just a rhetorical question. Who killed the Waynes? Okay. So this is a one-off alternative on talking about a person that's isolated. And so, is he a reliable narrator? Is he an unreliable narrator? Go watch the film and then come back and write your responses underneath, and we'll be able to say it. So, what would you rate the film?
Oh, 10. I mean, really 10, 10, 10. Like all across the board, beyond the 10.
Yeah,
if I could give it 100, I would give it 100. I guess I could give it 100. Like, excellent, like, well written, great cinematography, great acting, the music was great. The costume and design was great because it was during a certain period, right? So you saw like the cars and the clothing, and just you did get a feel for that period piece, right? So it's just well done, great.
Yeah, we talked so robustly that we didn't even get a chance for me to put the graphic up until just now. But the graphic was in the main advertising piece for. But
definitely go see it.
So people, we didn't talk about the Joker film, but this is in it. But so I'm just going to say anyway. There's the question about the Joker was, is there a racist trope in the Joker? So I'm going to go back to the Joker for a minute because we gave a rating. It is worth
when
seeing.
They said that, but I didn't see it.
Yes, I did. But it's very important that the youth see this and know this, so that they can interpret this when they're watching film, so that it doesn't cause them to feel lowly of themselves, right? This is very important. There is one racist trope in the Joker, right? It seems benign,
Okay.
but it could become very cancerous in the mind of the youth who are watching the Joker, right? And this is what I mean, right? Have you ever noticed, like, you watch commercials or you watch films, and whenever there is a situation where there is angst,
right,
where there's something in the story that's going to give the white protagonist angst, there's a black person set there in that character to be the angst. Usually they use the character, the black character is usually in charge somehow, and in some kind of authoritative position in which stops them from having their good time, right? And so that's a racist trope, right? Or you'll see something like, there's this Allstate commercial where it's two Allstate insurance agents, one black, one white. So they're competing to get more business, so to speak. So the white agent helps an old lady cross the street, takes her hand from out of the black one's hand, but the black one helps a beached whale. But
watch the whale.
Watch the whale's eye. It's like he's talking, he's saying, yes, we help and do this, and then the whale's eye rolls his eyes like, oh, whatever. Watch this. These are just little tropes in commercials that go into that you aren't conscious that you're seeing, but it goes back into the back of your mind through your eye gate, right? So it's very important you write this. So now in the Joker, it's not the Joker, because the Joker is a totally different franchise. This is Joker. What the angst in Joker is the therapist. It's the same woman. It's the same woman that is his that's supposed to be his quote unquote social worker. Is also the therapist at Arkham Asylum, and his angst is always anything that comes down heavy on him comes from out of her mouth. As far as him being able to get treatment, it comes heavy from out her mouth, and so he then shows the audience angst. This is real subtle, but it is a racist trope, when in actuality it is something where they are projecting off what is in them onto a black body. So watch this in films. Whenever there's something that angsts the character and it's not a black character, the person that's angsting them is an extra. You know, they might have a couple of lines in there, right? A supporting cast member, and that person is black. Watch this, and you will see this, and that is a racist trope, when in actuality, in real life, it is the opposite. I was in a grocery store, and I was on the phone with my wife because she was at home, and I was shopping. And in the speaker, you know, used to be elevator music. Right. But now they were playing Hall & Oates. I can go for that. Oh, no, can do. No, I can't go. So I'm singing the song, right? I'm singing the song. I'm singing the hook. I knew the words. You know, it was something that came out when we were kids, and it just stays in your mind. So I was picking out bread from out the bulk bread bin, right? And I was putting the bread into the thing, and I was just singing, right? And then here comes I would say crackheadish Caucasian female, dirty, stringy hair, like just not good, you know, like either meth or crack or whatever it was. So she comes and says, yeah, sing that. And I'm like, I'm looking at it now. You know, I graduated from Polish Catholic school, right? Predominantly Polish Catholic school. And, you know, what I've learned over time is, like, when we would be dancing, because we had to push to get hip hop then into the dances or whatever. So when we dance, and here come the ones who wanted to antagonize you, and they would dance and act, but they didn't have any rhythm. So they would be dancing. I would say, oh, but you can't dance. And I would dance more and make them stop You know what I'm saying? I was in the car one day, back driving up Warrensville Center Road through Shaker Heights, and I looked through the rear view mirror because I was bobbing my head to some hip hop music, and I look in the back of the truck, and there's a white girl driving and a white goofy dude with glasses in the passenger seat, and he's doing this. He's being funny, like trying to mock me while I'm dancing. So I look at him and I bob harder, and then his girl tapped him and stopped him, and then their smiles went to frowns because they didn't stop me from getting down. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you see these racist tropes in movies, it is actually the reverse. So this woman says that in the store, and I'm like, I keep singing and I keep doing what I don't know if she was trying to throw me off or whatever, but it's always something. You're not conscious of it, but see, at first, when I go out, my guard is always up. But it had been a couple of songs they had played in the grocery store, and I was like, I'm going to, I was feeling like I was letting my guard down, but I said, no, I ain't going to let my guard down, but I'm going to sing this song because, it's jamming, Hall & Oates, And so here she comes, and I guess she wanted to get next to the bend or whatever, right? Because I was getting the bread, so she was standing around, lurking around, right? And so she comes up and she does this, and I'm like, here it is. I'm minding my own business, and here comes this person. Mind your business. Mind your business. So that's I did the 5. That's the 6th way to make people mind your business. Keep doing what you were doing and enjoy it, and shame the devil, and they will walk away from you. And that's what it was, and that's what she did. I went on, did my thing. I kept on going. I can't go with that. Oh no, because that's the jam. That's the jam. Blue Eyed Soul. That was the jam. But anyway, people, because we can appreciate, right, and give credit where credit is due. So that's what I'm saying. So those racist tropes are projection. In English or in film, there's a term called projection, where the person in writing will project off what's in them onto you to make you seem like you are the bad person. This is a racist trope in this film, or in many other films, where the black person is seen as the person that gives the white person who's just going about their everyday life angst at a certain point, and it can be no further from the truth, except for, in actuality, it is the converse, and it is they who give us angst when we are minding our own business. I always wanted to be, and I was coming out of a movie theater, and this is the last example. We were coming out of a movie theater. We had come from out of seeing, what was the movie? And then I saw wasn't it one of the Marvels? Yeah, it's one of the Marvels. It was one of the Marvels, but it was a different take on it, kind of like Joker is. Yeah. And I saw Mike Xavier. Shout out to Mike Xavier, making it big in hip hop out here. I saw him, and we were talking about it as he was going into the theater. They were playing it again in the same theater, and we were walking out, and we started a conversation about it. I said, well, you're probably going to see some things that are a little bit different, and then here comes first of all, out the blue, the white woman comes out, and she's walking by, but then she stops and stares at the conversation like, oh my God, they can speak English. I don't know what she was thinking, but that's how, how they have that alien look on their face sometimes. And so that's how she was looking. And then she wanted to chime in on the conversation, breaking me and this dude's moment of having a discussion, having to chime in. And that's the same thing. Have you seen that meme with Serena? And I can't think of the young lady's name, but they were dressed alike. And they were crossing their legs, going back and forth. And it says in the caption, then a freeloader comes in, and then when you flip the picture to the next on Instagram, it's a white woman sitting there imitating, doing the same thing next to Serena and the other black girl tennis player, because they were dressed alike. She wasn't dressed nothing like them, and they were having fun with each other. Here comes someone having to intervene when two black people are having fun. That is what you call overseeing, people. That is an overseer. That is called diversity. Diversity means for every 5 black people, one white person to oversee. This is called overseeing. I didn't want to get this deep, but since Serena and this younger, they don't want Serena to pass on anything to this young girl, this young tennis player that can then pass on to the other young black girl tennis player. They don't want solidarity, so they want to come in and break up. That's called diversity. That's called overseeing. And that's what you see in film. They reverse it. They take it from them actually doing it, which is the converse, and put it onto us as if we are the ones that are breaking up the thing when it's the other way around. So let's see what some people say. Waiting for this review. Annie is watching. Back off, Becky. That's what Chinese says. Back off, Becky. So we have to make you aware of this because this is the film review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. We don't just talk fluff. We talk real conversation and real facts about what's going on. So that's what it is. So, you know, we just have to tell you that. So on the Joker side, that was the only racist trope in there. And it's so subtle, but it can become detrimental because it can go into your sight gate or go into the Caucasian sight gate, and why racism can't end for many reasons. Why prejudice can't end is because of that racism won't end until, you know, yeah, right. All right. So now, people,
Godfather of Harlem.
The Godfather of Harlem, starring none other than
Forrest Whitaker.
Another great actor. Another great actor, right? Yes. So, The Godfather of Harlem. What can we say about this film, right? What can we say about this show? This show
on Epix
is just an incredible show. To get the context of the show, you would have to go rent another great film, a movie called Hoodlum, HOODLUM, directed by Bill Duke. It tells the story of Bumpy Johnson, when he was a young man, right? Fighting the gangsters of lore from that era, those Italian and Irish gangsters, or should I say Sicilian and Irish gangsters of that time period in the 30s. And so you tell this story. So now he's coming back home in the 60s after doing 11 years, right? So he's coming home from that, and he's found that times have changed, but the people who seem to depend on him, like, what were they doing in between the time that he was locked up or not? What were they doing in between that time? Because the first thing when his wife has a party for him, a coming home party, everyone's coming up to him with gripes and problems and hands out to get assistance.
Literally, he didn't even have enough time to sit down. He was like literally walking through the doorway and just didn't even get a chance to sit down yet before everyone came to him with their various problems.
So the first 2 episodes are about him catching up to the pace of the streets. Now making alliances and executing plans, because, you know, people who are older have knowledge that the youth still don't have, even though the youth might be slick at what they do, right? The elders still hold some game that they may not have, and that's what the first 2 episodes are. So it's a really great show. You get to see the influence of Malcolm X in the piece. You get to see.
And I'm going to mention the cast, because that actor that plays Malcolm X is
you know. Then you get to meet see the influence of Adam Clayton Powell in Harlem at the time. So it's a great piece. It's a great historical piece, and unlike most films that are Italian or Sicilian or Irish protagonist based, this film shows you the truth about what black people were actually doing during that period. Hoodlum definitely shows you what black people were doing during that period, and also this period coming into the night. So it's a 30-year span that you're getting to see what's actually happening in the black community. If you watch Hoodlum and then you watch this, it shows you what's happening and what's been happening
in the community,
the time he went away.
The sense of community.
So let's go through the cast real quick.
Of course, starring Forrest Whitaker.
That's right.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah. He plays Adam Clayton Powell.
Oh no!
Excuse me.
No.
Oh, Vincent. That's right.
From,
that's right. Sorry.
What's that show? Law and Order.
Yeah, Law and Order. That's right. He plays the Italian gangster. He's not a made man. Go ahead.
Leifner Shadira plays his wife. Nigel Thatch plays Malcolm X. He does an excellent job. Yeah. Giancarlo Esposito plays
Adam Clayton Powell.
Right.
That's right.
Paul Sorvino, Lucy Fry, Antoinette Crowe, Kevin Harris Jr., Ralphie Gavron, and Catherine Narducci.
Yeah, round out the cast.
Yeah.
Godfather of Harlem is well worth the watch.
It is.
It's got so many twists and turns in just the first 2 episodes. It's just incredible. And so the styling on the show, the cinematography on the show, using Harlem as the world, using the mosque as a world, using Adam Clayton Powell's campaign office as a world, building this up. Bumpy Johnson's apartment as a world. You know, introducing you, showing you what the high-rise tenement buildings were like when they were luxury apartments. It's a beautifully created piece, directed piece, and you will enjoy it. It's well worth watching, right?
Yeah, it is.
So, what would you rate it?
Definitely a 10 because of the acting. You know, Forrest Whitaker, Nigel Thatch, as well as the rest of the cast. Just great acting, great writing, because it's so great that you can't wait for the next episode. So it's not set up like you know how Netflix, they'll have like all of the episodes you can binge watch. Well, with this show, it's weekly, you know, like Power. So, you know, I found that after the one episode ended, I was looking forward to that following week, you know, so the acting is great. The costume and design is great. The music, because it's a period piece, they play a lot of great music.
Shanice said, waiting for this review.
Yeah, because it's just like the first episode. The actor that played Malcolm X, what did we say? He hit it on the nose.
He hit it.
I mean, so realistic. Like, I'm like, is this Malcolm X? No. But no, it's just like he hits it. Excellent job.
You know, like he doesn't even borrow from what Denzel did.
No.
He's like his own guy. He's got it. He just has.
He embodies.
He embodies Malcolm.
He
does. He embodies Malcolm. Right?
He does a great job.
So yeah, I give it a 10. It's just the first 2 episodes, but this piece is great. You know, he is there. You see the duplicity of man within Bumpy Johnson.
Yeah. So the 3rd episode should be up tonight.
Yeah, it should be up tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know where it wasn't up. But,
well, we didn't look for it. Yesterday it wasn't up yet. Because it was early in the day. But great show. And then to wrap it up, Michael B. Jordan's Raising Diahann is also an excellent show on Netflix. And before we sign out, Diahann Carroll, she acted in over 28 films.
That's right.
So check out one of her films.
Yeah, she passed. That's right.
And the two that immediately come to mind for me is Julia. Right. I watched Julia. I love Julia as a child watching her. And Claudine.
On it, on.
So,
keep it in the moment.
But she acted in over 28 films. So check out one of the films she acted in.
You know, that was that soundtrack by Gladys Knight and Pips, right? Yeah. So we have to give credit where credit is due. So again, people, as we close out, because we're going to talk about raising, what's his name?
Raising Diahann.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it after we watch a couple of more episodes, right? But we want to make you
check it out so you can chime in.
So you can chime in and talk about what you do. Because, you know, like I say, Michael B. Jordan is doing his thing. Yeah. Again, you know, Harlem. Yeah. Don't forget Godfather of Harlem.
Joker. Right? The Black Halloween films to check out.
Lordland Theater.
Yes.
Every Saturday morning. Lordlandfilms.com, the website. Lordlandfilms.com/LordlandTV or Lordlandfilms.com on Facebook. Go there. You can watch all 10 episodes of what's going on. Viewer discretion is advised. And then, of course, we talked about the 4 films that we talked about today that you should definitely put into your Halloween repertoire. And we're going to be back next week.
Yeah, and you know what? More. Speaking of, because we're going to cover it next week, but the Raising Diahann falls, into like the Halloween type.
Yeah, it's sci-fi.
It's sci-fi-ish,
but it's a little horror there, right?
So check it out.
Right? Yeah. So, as you saw, you know, the strange thing about the Johnsons. Make sure you go watch that right now on YouTube. You will be tripping. Yeah. Blackenstein, you can see on YouTube. Yeah. Death by Temptation, you can see. And Now Eat. All 4 of those films you can see. But put them in your list so you can play them on the big screen while you're having your party. Yeah. So make sure you go there and see that. You know, add that to your watch list so that you can have when you have your Halloween parties, right? And let me see. Oh yes, next week as we close out, we will have our first independent film in the TFR showcase, where we show you a piece of the film and we talk about you know, an independent film, you know, and we give our true review of this independent film, and you can send yours in to LordlandEnterprises@hotmail.com. That's LordlandEnterprises@hotmail.com. Say attention submission for TFR independent film review. Well, we review your film, right? So, you know, I wish I had people who could have reviewed the film when I was coming up as a young filmmaker, right? So this has been episode 78. Excuse me, 79. This is episode 79 of the film review. Move that over a little bit so we can see it, right? Episode 79 of the film review.
Time flies.
Next week is going to be episode 80. Episode 80, can you believe it, of the film review? We have been doing our thing here. We have been making sure that we brought you things that will get people seen, heard, recognized, and appreciated. And we bring entertainment that entertains you. And that's what we do here at the film review and Lordland Films and all that. So this has been another, let me see in closing what we're saying. Shanice said R.I.P. Queen Carroll, 78. No, we're on 79 now, Shanice. 79 episodes and, you know, going to 80 next week. Wow. So, you know, we'll be at 100 pretty soon. People. So listen.
Busy.
So people, in closing, this has been another robust episode of the film review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. We are the husband and wife team. I am the voice of the filmmaker. My wife is the voice of the critic. I'm Crazy D.
Tracy.
And we review movies, music, culture, politics, and society. And we thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Film Review.
The Film Review, movies, music, culture, politics, society podcast, interviews, movie reviews, and more. Live Sundays at 5:30 p.m. on Facebook at Crazon Diahann.
Hey everybody, this is Lunell, the original bad girl of comedy. I'm here at the Link Promenade in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, and you're watching the Film Review.